Today, I'll examine how organizations can build ethical cultures intentionally rather than treating ethics as a policy that sits on a shelf. We'll focus on three connected areas: effective reporting mechanisms, practical training programs, and safeguards that help people raise concerns and make sound decisions. Together, these elements create a culture of integrity, while also helping protect the organization from risks that can develop internally. The goal is not only compliance, but an environment where ethical behavior is understood, supported, and sustained. Ethics safeguards matter because the consequences of failure extend well beyond regulatory fines. When misconduct is ignored or mishandled, organizations can lose trust, weaken their brand reputation, and damage employee morale. The challenge is especially clear in the 2023 KPMG survey. Nearly 70% of employees who witness misconduct never report it, often because they lack a safe, clearly understood channel. Proactive ethics infrastructure is more than compliance. It helps create a culture where concerns can surface early, trust can be protected, and ethical behavior becomes a genuine competitive advantage. An effective ethics reporting ecosystem gives employees more than one safe way to raise concerns. Accessibility, anonymity, and trust are essential, regardless of an employee's role or level. Hotlines and helplines, often operated by independent third parties around the clock, help protect confidentiality and reduce concerns about management influence. Digital reporting portals provide secure, encrypted channels for detailed narratives and supporting documents. Open-door policies add a human path, with clear escalation options to human resources, legal, or an ethics officer when direct reporting feels safe. A trustworthy reporting system is built on 5 reinforcing pillars, and each one addresses a different reason employees may hesitate to speak up. Anonymity reduces the fear of being identified, while visible enforcement of non-retaliation policies shows that raising concerns is genuinely safe. Confidentiality protects everyone involved throughout the process. Accountability makes sure reports are not ignored, but followed through to resolution. Finally, accessibility removes practical barriers, so employees can report concerns easily, regardless of their circumstances. Together, these pillars turn reporting from a risk into a credible channel for action. After a report is filed, the process should be clear, consistent, and time-bound. First, the organization receives a report, logs the intake, and promptly acknowledges receipt. Next, an independent investigator is assigned to gather and assess the relevant evidence. The organization then determines findings and takes appropriate corrective action. Finally, it communicates with the reporter and updates policies when needed. Transparency in outcomes matters, even when confidentiality limits what can be shared. It shows employees that speaking up leads to a meaningful, documented response. Effective ethics training should do more than ask employees to memorize policies. The goal is to make ethical decision-making practical, relevant, and memorable. Scenario-based learning gives employees opportunities to consider realistic situations, weigh potential responses, and understand the consequences of their choices. Role-relevant examples also help people connect the training to the decisions they make in their own work. When these scenarios engage employees both emotionally and cognitively, the material is more likely to influence behavior, not simply be recalled for a compliance exercise. Effective ethics training is built around 4 connected components. First, new hires receive a clear orientation to the code of conduct, key policies, and available reporting channels. Next, role-specific scenarios make the training practical, addressing dilemmas such as bribery, conflict of interest, and data misuse. Annual refreshers reinforce expectations, incorporate regulatory updates, and provide a documented compliance trail. Finally, leadership workshops help managers model ethical behavior, respond appropriately to concerns, and foster teams where people feel psychologically safe speaking up. Together, these elements turn ethics from a policy into everyday practice. Effective training works best when it matches the learning goal and the learner's context. E-learning modules provide scalable, self-paced instruction that's easy to track, especially for distributed teams. Live facilitated sessions add discussion, debate, and real-time feedback, whether they happen in person or virtually. Gamified simulations take learning a step further by letting participants practice decisions in realistic scenarios. Research shows these scenario-based approaches can improve ethical decision-making accuracy by up to 40% over lecture-only formats. The strongest programs blend formats and reinforce learning consistently over time. Strong ethics programs rely on more than policies. They need independent oversight, protection, and measurable follow-through. An ethics officer or compliance committee owns a strategy, investigates concerns, and provides leadership with an internal check. Third-party audits add objectivity, uncover gaps, and strengthen credibility with stakeholders and regulators. Formal whistleblower protections, aligned with Sarbanes-Oxley and Dodd-Frank, help shield reporters from retaliation. Finally, dashboards track report volumes, resolution rates, and training completion, giving leaders a practical view of program health and helping them respond before issues grow. Leadership sets a standard for ethical culture. Employees watch what leaders do, not only what they say. When executives model ethical behavior, talk openly about values, and hold themselves accountable, those expectations become part of everyday work. That commitment also needs to be visible. Leaders should recognize ethical decisions, make ethics a regular board-level discussion rather than leaving it only to HR, and enforce standards consistently. A zero-tolerance policy is credible only when applies at every level, including the most senior leadership. The key takeaway is that strong ethics programs rely on several connected practices. Build trusted, multi-channel reporting. Train people with realistic, role-specific scenarios. Layer safeguard across training, audits, reporting, and leadership, and measure results continuously, closing the loop so the program keeps improving.